Okay, we are officially taking the interior out of the blue car. I have a brand new carpet kit for the rear hatch carpet assembly and the whole front cab part of the carpet assembly. So everything that you see from there all the way to back here and basically under all of this is getting replaced. Putting everything in this tub real quick, just all the loose leaf stuff. And as you can see, I have pretty brand new floor mats, so obviously we're not replacing that. And then brand new dash mat practically. Luckily for me, I've pulled the interior out of this car and the white car so often that this is gonna be a piece of cake? Question mark? Oh, are these so fun. Easiest way to pull these things out is just like with pliers, get underneath it, pop them out. These parts might be a little bit easier. But yeah, so these hold it down to the back of the chairs and the rear seats. And there's gonna be some there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat on the other side. And then your rear carpet will come out. Okay. What was supposed to be the easy part ended up not being the easy part. Dude, this little hole, it holds these tabs right here where you gotta pull this little thing. Yeah, you see how easy that one, I don't even know which way you go. You push or you pull. You pull it in, whatever, it's supposed to pop out easy. Dude, that side did not pop out easy. I was struggling. And then next, pull out the seats. Just undo this. You'll know what I'm talking about, but just undo this. This one, of course, is super easy. It's just one of the push-down ones. But yeah, you got to get a little flathead screwdriver in there. I don't know if mine was just broken or what it is, but yeah, that was a little difficult. So now the seat can finally come out, though. The seat is out. We got some dirt, some change. Okay, we got our passenger seat out. Always the easier one. No electronics, way lighter. And yeah, so we're gonna pull the carpet out. There's really nothing else I gotta pull out. You really only need to pull out the two side plastic pieces. One over here, one over there in the corner. The little nuts, holding them down here. The rest of it should kind of just come out. It might be stuck on the transmission tunnel. Out. So you can see. And then you got your foam in there. You can decide if you want to put that back in or not. And just like that, the carpet is out. I do remember this part of the carpet being stained, and I think it was the master cylinder was leaking. The previous owner just kind of kept topping it off. I will investigate that. I've cut out some holes of, obviously not very good holes, but small stuff. Small sections, and then flaps for certain spots that I know are going to be pretty close, and then I'll just have to open it up and do some things. This is where it doesn't get close. I think I cut this wrong, but we'll make it work. At least it's over and it's getting close to the position. But as you can see, we're a little far off. There's that knuckle right there, and that's where that knuckle is already shaped. So we have some work to do. Let's give a update on the carpet situation. Cut and formed, match some stuff up. A lot of the seams that you see here, they also have a lot of lineups like this in the corners, and they fit pretty good. If you cut around there, for the most part, it'll fit pretty good. Same thing here, they leave you a bunch of additional space on the ends in case you mess up or something. You look right there, you see that little seam right there? It's pretty close to where it should be. I even have some extra still on there. This is the worst part. I did it a little wrong here. I cut this when I think it's supposed to kind of stretch. That's supposed to be connected, this little pieces right there. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with that, but I cut it because I just could not get this to lay down nicely in the corners. Now you can see it's forming to everything, which looks good. Here, better image so you can see that's where I cut my little hole for the seat bracket. But yeah, it's forming to this nice and neat. And with this, I just couldn't get it to stretch and push down into the corner, so I cut it. I think it's fine, but yeah, that's a bear. Getting that nice and neat around all that stuff. I'm gonna clean up a little bit more, and I took the foam padding out these that are in the side, they're in there. I took that out because it's just a lot easier with that out of the way. You can put it back in if you really want to, sound deadening and all that fun stuff. But yeah, and then the next step after that was cutting all the holes for where like the seat bracket is on the wall here, for part of the seat belt. And then the other one, if you push that in, it's gonna line up a little better. That one's a little bigger than I wanted. Tried to make the holes relatively small because I want it to be more carpet than metal. Like, I don't want you to basically see any of the metal. That's why up here you can see this is just kind of a test fit, but you can barely see that stuff. Like, you have to get under here to see any of that. Now we're on to probably one of the trickiest parts, is stapling this to the factory carpet holders. They attach to the rocker panel, and basically you have to pull the staples out individually. I did it nice, and I'm gonna try and staple in the similar locations. But yeah, basically you just pull them off of this, and they're like these little staples here. So you just gotta find something that's commercial style staple to make it a little bit easier for you to, you know, replace that. I'm gonna use this one for now that my dad's letting me borrow, and hopefully it does the job. Also gotta trim up there because it's just gonna bunch up and look kind of bad. I think I got rid of it, but there was like a big bubble here because it was so bunched up. I tried to leave too much. This kit is actually a lot better than I thought. It's perfectly formed. Trim length, it's pretty spot on. The holes, questionable. A lot of the stuff that I try to match up with this by laying that carpet on top of this did not match up. So you might as well just throw it in the car and then just kind of spot check where the holes are. I use like a pick or like a screwdriver, and that seemed to help a lot. I have like a straight pick version of these. I use these for the staples, but similar concept, just like a straight one, and then just kind of poke your way through things and look for the holes. And then as you can see, this looks good, right? It doesn't look too bad. Wrong, I cut the wrong spot. I would also suggest doing little flaps like this if you're gonna do any pre-holes. That way you can kind of just put it down and it looks like it didn't even exist. Same thing goes for this stuff, flaps, but it can be pressed down. And then this was a hole that was down to here, but made that a little bit bigger. And then, like I told you guys before, I trimmed a lot of this. I had to untuck and retrim because it was all up in the shifter boot, and that's just not gonna work. This is what happens when you don't read the instructions. Trial and error. Just cut it on the dotted lines. It's like when you're a kid, give you the scrapbook to cut out, you know, on the line. You see where the line is right there, and cut a little above it, but just cut along the line, because it looks like they leave you room just in case this doesn't stretch the way you need it to. But honestly, look at this. This is like formed. That's factory. Like, that's almost factory spec right there. And the little green things are gonna stretch it a little bit further. Like, it's gonna pull it a little bit further, and then when you pop a seat in, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna sit in there and it's gonna stretch out the carpet for you. So yeah, read the instructions, cut on the dotted line, call it a day. I mean, literally this thing fits perfect for the most part. If you cut on that line, just about everywhere has been great. I assume they leave the extra just in case, but God, it's pretty dialed. This kit is really good. I'm just dumb. The little industrial staples that we're using with this stapler, working out pretty good. You see that staple that went straight through top of the carpet right here, just doing it in the openings. And then the places where you need to do it on like the end, you can. I didn't need to here because the plastic molding covers that, but down here I did need to do that to keep it a little bit tighter up here, because I possibly trimmed this too short and it was hanging off the edge. So we're looking pretty good now. You have to do some trimming down here. But I left a lot more carpet than you really needed to here, because I knew most of this was gonna cover it, but at the same time, I really want this whole carpet kit. I don't want you to see anything but the carpet. I don't want you to see any of this, none of that. Obviously tucking that up in there. That is a whole nother thing back in there. You can see how much of that I trimmed. Yeah, so you're gonna trim pretty close to that seam right there. That's gonna be super helpful for you. You could pretty much trim like all the way down through there, but if you wanna leave a little bit of stuff, you can see where I'm making little cuts and slits right here so that it forms to the corners better. So that's just kind of trial and error. You're gonna have to do it, tuck it, pull it back out, tuck it again, But yeah, this is just working out pretty good. And you'll see some bubbles and stuff, not a big deal. Your trim is gonna take care of that. Over here, if you have little broken ones like I did, you could probably just staple them. I basically just forced a staple with my hands through this, made 2 little holes, and that's the best I could do. But it is holding, so that's the primary function for it. And then, yeah, don't be a dummy like me and absolutely break one of these off. Did that over here on this one a long time ago, and that was my fix. This is also a really good option if that happens to you, just using like one of the little anchors to push through. Any bubbles where you see how there's like slop there, the moment that the seat sits down and you bolt it down, it's gonna pull a lot of that slack out. So you should be pretty good. The front interior is all in and is looking really good. Vacuumed everything, cleaned it up a little bit so that when I set the seats in, I'm not putting it on top of dirt. But everything is looking pretty good. Okay. Carpet's looking a little bit neater with the seats in. That looks so clean. Like that fitment. And then just the fact that you can't see like pretty much any imperfections in the carpet there. There's a couple of things I want to clean up. See if I can clean that up a little bit. Yeah, like come on. Look at that before and after. That's also just some random things like cleaning up all the rust that was on this. There's some surface rust. Doing some rust removal on the back of these. These always rust. You don't see them, and I'm not gonna go crazy and get under the cloth or the fabric, but I'm at least gonna clean this up a little bit. So a little bit of Scotch-Brite, a little bit of surface rust prep, and then paint. Okay, looking pretty good. I'd say good enough to paint for sure. Block off some of the fabric, and then we'll get this stuff painted so it doesn't have the opportunity to get some more surface rust on it. These little clips, they're actually folded all the way around, and I'm gonna be honest, that is something I'm not tackling. Hurricane prep on my motor. Taped, masked everything off, and then gotta prep a little bit more here, and then get that painted. This is a pretty common area for rust, just because water kind of builds up there, so you always want to take care of that. So gonna finish that off next. And then pops through some paint on the back side of this because it was rusting. Front side's probably okay, but here you had a couple little rust spots just from bolts and whatnot. So that goes under this, slides in and holds onto it like right there. It is always the little details that matters and the things that you spend the longest time on. With the old, some extra carpet. It's in there pretty snug. There you go. Look at that. Dude, that looks so good. I'm stoked about that. That looks super nice. I don't know about you guys, but if you own a Mark III, you may or may not have absolutely so many issues with the boot, the shift boot, and this bracket that attaches to it. I'm over it. I have it fully attached out that bracket. You can see a little gap of light there. Should kind of tuck that up a little bit. Now here's how I did it. I'm not proud of some of it, but some of it I am proud of. Staple right here, staple right here. Worked out pretty well, went straight through the plastic, and then out over here on the other side and get it nice and neat. Same thing over here, not too bad. Could have lined that up a little better, but overall it works. The ones that I'm not proud of, this one right here, to try to get that gap cleared up, there's just really no other place to staple right there. It's doing the job, like it's holding it. It's not going nowhere, but don't like it as much. And this one, definitely not proud of, but it will also work. This part is all covered within the little frame of this, so no big deal. Just doesn't look as good, but luckily it's covered, so I'm not super stressed about it. And then this one, I'm pretty proud of. This is just easy. A couple little pilot holes with a pick here and here, and then threaded my little screw through each of them into the factory location of where those screws for this bracket and those holes. Now, what does it look like when it's all done? From a distance, everything looks okay. Down in here, yeah, that's not ideal. That bracket, obviously, it seams it up to this lip here. So you're gonna have some spacing here. I mean, if you're looking at it from the side, you're gonna see those gaps and stuff, and it looks weird. But from here, it looks pretty good. Like I'm pretty happy with that. That's definitely livable. I'm not gonna mess with anything. And then of course, you know, go through. I don't have the clutch pushed in, but yeah. And then this worked out perfectly. I left just enough carpet all the way around so that you're not gonna be able to see like anything else other than think that's oh, no, there's a small gap there in the metal, but that's not too hard. Maybe I can patch that up with some leftover carpet, but really I think when this goes down, yeah, you can't see it. I'm not worried about it. So yeah, overall, I think that looks pretty good. Pretty hyped about that. So, seat is in the car. Looks great. Everything is starting to look together. Problem, because when is there not a problem? That first thread on the right, it's a little smashed. And I keep trying to put a bolt in it and it just immediately stops. I don't want to force it through there and mess up any more bolts. So I'm gonna probably tap that and get that fixed. But overall, at least the seat's in the car. If I need to put 3 bolts in it so we can move the car, we will, because right now we got a hurricane coming, and that is the idea, to at least be able to move this if needed. Okay, the carpet kit is in now, obviously, and we have our seats in, and we have our rear seats in, so everything is bolted up. We had the back painted. I've already got some of the little plastic tabs you can see right there already in that, so that we can just bolt it straight to this. And then it'll lay over all this with the little piece of wood that goes back here. I might paint that wood, I don't know yet. And then as for this, everything is laid in properly. It was a bit of a bear, obviously getting the wiring back in, but we got that back in, and we got our seat working again. Getting the carpet over this area was not as fun, but you know, we made it work. And then getting those bolts in, strip thread over there, I was able to get that bolt in, so that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And then that's pretty much it. So I'm pretty happy though. Overall, the car is starting to look brand new again. Also wanted to note that in the front right here on these brackets, in the back of that bracket right here, there's a little dowel pin that needs to line up. You're gonna have to poke like some kind of hole in this. I kind of just forced it through the carpet and it poked straight through, so you may not even need to worry about it. That side over there, the passenger side, poking in on that one right there was a bear. That one might be a little bit more difficult, but these two weren't too bad. You kind of just sit in the seat and it pokes through the carpet because they've got little pointers on the dowels. And then of course getting that thing lined up is super fun, but basically you can just look at it from the top of this area right here, and you can kind of find where you can slide that through the slot that's right back there. It's just under this, you'll be able to see it. And then as for these, the little orange like washer that holds everything together, super important, makes it way easier to put these through the carpet. Same thing on that side and the passenger side. The passenger side, one of my little orange washers broke, so that was not fun. Went ahead and painted the whole back. Not the most professional job, but it'll work. All right, we've got our floor mats back in the car, our somewhat new floor mats back in the car, and everything is looking good. The front interior is pretty much complete. The only thing left we have is, obviously we sprayed a little over in certain places just to get some paint on stuff. It doesn't need to look perfect, but it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And then cleaned up the 2 little trays that are in the corner here and here, because I want it to look as OEM as possible. And then we will put our piece of wood and our rear seat carpet in. I've already kind of pre-punctured these right here, so they're ready to go into the back. But I do have pre-punctured holes here, 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 and here. And those are for those additional button heads. They kind of look like this, but a little bit bigger, that are gonna go on this side of the carpet into the back of the seats. And there it is. Mounted on the back seats. That was a struggle. Had to make some new holes to get the things to line up. And you can see a couple little air pockets, like right there, that one. Oh man, that's gonna bug me. I'm probably gonna have to fix that, but nah, man, dude, brand new. It looks so good. Pretty happy. I can do some fancy little, carpet lines in here. This was the easiest part. Like the rear, even though that was a little bit of a struggle, the rear part was way easier, and it looks so much better. Yeah, so big shout out to Mom. The project is pretty much completed. She helped source and purchase the carpet kit for me. It was like a Christmas present because I was refusing to do it for the longest time, but it is in the car and I'm extremely happy. And then she also sewed up my seat where there was a cord sticking out right here from the structure cord right here was poking out, so she had taken care of that and then sewed it back up. So the interior for the most part is done. There's obviously going to be things here and there that I want to clean up, but overall this car is borderline perfection. new paint, new interior. You could say I'm beyond stoked on the completion of this, but yep, time to wrap it up and get started on the next project. All right, we are finally swapping the cars around. So we're gonna swap the Nova around and we are going to put the blue Supra back up front so I can start driving it again. All right, cars moved around back. We're gonna get working on the Nova again, which Dad is of course excited about. And then this is going back up front so we can start driving it again. Dude, it looks so good.